Hey, call me Shape, and today I'm reacting to a video titled, Dating the Bad Guy is Way Worse Than Women Think. Let's get right into it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be reacting to a TikTok. Now, I loved this video. I've already watched it for transparency. I had to share it with all of you though. One, because I think you'll get a kick out of it, and two, because it is great advice. And I want to use this as a way to discuss a bigger topic here. So we're going to watch it together and then reconvene, and I'll tell you what I think. So let's get into it. This video is from a TikTok creator with the username Sam_doll. So let's get into it.
This is a piece of dating advice that's going to save you years of your life, okay? When people say, you have to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince, and like you're in your early 20s and you know you're dating someone that's like kind of like a loser, and you're kind of going, well, this probably isn't my forever person, but you know, I'm young and this is the frog I'm kissing before my prince. Let me tell you something. Do you think it's just a frog you're kissing to get to your prince? But what's actually happening is the frog said, you want to come over, I live in a swamp. And you're like, yeah, okay, kind of weird because I'm a human being and I live in a house. Like, who cares? I'll f around and chill in a swamp for a bit. But then you become accustomed to the swamp. The neural pathways in your brain make you think, oh, this swamp isn't so bad. This swamp basically is a house. Meanwhile, the frog that you knew was a frog starts looking like a prince all of a sudden because you don't even know what a prince looks like anymore. Been hanging out with this frog so long, you're like, wait a sec. Is he even an amphibian? Now, you're accustomed to the frog. You're accustomed to the swamp. If a prince walked by and offered you a palace, you wouldn't even notice because you have no clue what your standards are anymore. Nice guys are coming your way. You're like, ribbit, ribbit. What I'm telling you here is you think that when you date someone like a bad guy, that you just get out of it and you're like, I'm reborn. Now I'm going to date only good guys. No, the longer you stay with someone that isn't good for you or like whatever, you do something to your brain and you can't, your standards are all up. And let me tell you something, all the people I know that are chronically single just keep dating the same guys over and over and over. It's not that they're unlovable and it's not that there's no men in the world and it's not whatever. It's that their standards for dating are swamp men, frogs. They spent too long in the trenches. They never got out and saw the world. I think it's harmless, but it's not, because over time you start to normalize these things and behaviors and relationship expectations. Then you have kids with a frog. Your kid is half frog, half woman or man, and the kid's all weird now.
She's so funny. That was cute. Honestly, just as fabulous my second time watching it. I love the way she presented this because I think it makes it so much easier to see things clearly in your head when you sort of remove the human out of it and you use a frog, right? A little goofy, but I digress. So what is this bad advice that I see a lot of women give other women? You're young, date losers who treat you like garbage and don't meet your needs because you have plenty of time and you should just get it out of your system. You know, it's not always in those exact words. Sometimes it's hook up with random guys who don't care at all about you. Or date a guy based on exceptionally poor criteria, the way he looks or how much money he makes, because you're young and it doesn't matter. You know, I could go on here and give you like different versions of this, but you get the point. I have seen so many women give other women this advice, and it is criminal.
We can't blame the person that's giving you advice. We gotta blame you for taking the advice. Now, let me tell you something. If he was a frog, like you said he was, right? He's a frog. When did you realize he was a frog? Before or after he banged your brains out? Because I'm starting to believe that women are so addicted to hooking up that they want to hook up with a frog. Because they're trying to get their itch scratched, right? They're trying to get that itch scratched. So look, we could blame alpha men, we could blame beta men, we could blame princes, we could blame frogs, but we really should blame you because you chose him. So if you had a kid with a frog, that's on you. Now, let me tell you something. Who's to say you're not a frog? Every time I hear people talk about dating advice, it's almost as if they're an angel, they're the good one, and they just happen to still stumble on a bad person. No, you stumbled on your match. You guys are a match made in heaven. Right? What'd you say? Ribbit? Ribbit? Yeah. That's you. You relate to him. And for me personally, like, every time I listen to like Courtney Ryan or some of these other female dating coaches, it's as if we absolve women from all accountability. It's always someone else. It's always a dating coach. The trophy wife. Oh, it's Shira Seven's fault. She told me to go after high value men and rich men. And Shira Seven, when she responded to that video, she was like, I didn't tell you to go date a man like that. You goofy. I never told you to put your kid into another man's house like that. So, who's to blame? You're to blame. We're to blame. We all got to take accountability at some point. Okay? We all have to take accountability at some point. Listen, some people think I sound like Kermit the Frog. Okay? Whose fault is that? I don't know. Maybe God's fault. Okay? But it's helping me have a platform, so I'm okay with it. Okay? But some people also think I sound like Joe Rogan. So, who's to blame for that? I don't know. The point I'm saying is that we can't trust what people tell us. It's more about what we do. That's what we're responsible for.
He is so right in this video. It is criminal and it's common, and it's not just as harmless as you have to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. It becomes an incredibly unfortunate cycle of dysfunction that many people have a hard time breaking out of. So the next time you go to take advice from chronically single people or people who are stuck in these dysfunctional cycles and keep repeating, perhaps think twice. A part of me is convinced that people give this advice to sabotage other people out of jealousy or have them make the same mistakes that they did. I don't know, but what I do know is this is terrible advice to give to young women for the exact reason this lady in the video stated. You become accustomed and get very used to dating this type of person. For many, it becomes your normal, and you fall into this pattern of just dating the same bad guy over and over and over with just a different face on him. You become addicted to the chaos and the dysfunction and really struggle to end things or to break this pattern. You end up feeling stuck there, and many people do nothing about it. A lot of women end up forming trauma bonds with these not so great guys and date them for far too long, or end up wasting their young years on men who so clearly do not deserve it. Too many women are operating like it's harmless to date the bad guy and tell other young women to do the same, but I have seen this end so poorly too many times to believe that that is true. She said if a prince walked by and offered you a palace, you wouldn't even notice. Nice guys are coming your way and you're just like, ribbit, ribbit. But yeah, you get so used to the bad ones that it changes what you're attracted to, and the great guys slowly fade off into the distance as you head towards your swamp full of guys sending you up texts at 11 p.m.
Here's the thing, right? The great guy they're talking about, that's the nice guy. And we know women don't want the nice guy. They want the alpha guy. This frog that she's talking about, he's really the alpha. Because he's there to bag you. He had success on bagging you. That's the alpha. I might not agree that he's alpha, but he's your alpha. Okay? Whoever you choose, whoever women choose, is by default the alpha. Because that's the guy getting the girls. So you might have chosen the fact that he got with you. He probably get with your friends. He's going to get with other girls. And if that's the kind of guy you start dating, becomes your type, and that becomes other girls' types, that guy's the alpha. So we could call him the loser and this and all these other names because things didn't work out the way you want to work out. But the truth of the matter is, he is the alpha. He is. So let me dial this back a little bit. What should you do in this scenario, right, where you get so familiar with the quote-unquote alpha or the bad guy, right? You're loving with the bad guy. The problem is that it's more nature than you think it is. This is not just something someone taught you, right? I don't believe that humans are like complete tabula rasa, right? We're not just like blank slates and then we can just impose anything on us. No. We have certain instincts, we have certain conditions, we have a certain nature, a biological nature. Chances are she got with a guy that she thought was hot, or he had status, or he was the captain of the football team, right? She didn't just get with some nerd that someone convinced her she should date. No. Because you can't convince a girl to date a nerd. I remember when I was in school, okay? When I was in high school, women rejected certain guys and they dated certain guys. It's just the way it was. They rejected certain guys. They just did. And I don't care if you gave her a speech, a lecture, she wouldn't date someone that you wanted her to date. She dated who she wanted to date, right? Girls would date guys that are older, that had cars, right? Who told them to do that? Women always went after the guys they wanted. But it just happens to be that the guys they want ain't no good for them. So, am I going to buy that this guy was like a loser, that losers was getting buns? No, this dude was he was a Chad. Okay? But this lady, Courtney Ryan's falling for her because she's like, oh, it makes so much sense. You date the wrong guy and then you're familiar with the wrong guy. No, he's only the wrong guy because he pumped and dumped you. That's why he's the wrong guy. He's the wrong guy because you think you could do better than a man that doesn't give an F about how you feel. Okay? You don't have to convince girls to like alphas. They naturally like alphas. You don't have to convince a girl to be repulsed by betas. They're naturally repulsed by betas. And when I look back on my life as a person who dated many women, a lot of beautiful women, I've realized that, yeah, I could have probably tried to run game on them or persuade them, but any guy knows this as much as I know it. The more you talk, the more you're going to talk your way out of the punani, right? You can't talk your way into punani. Yeah, you can have game, you can have social skills, you can have soft skills where you know how to hold a conversation, blah, blah. But realistically, a girl, if she's really attracted to you, she's just going to hook up with you. Doesn't matter what you say. You're going to just waste your breath, okay? You could listen to Courtney Ryan and say, oh, it's familiarity. Because like I said, when I watch these videos, it's just pushing the blame to somebody else. When are we going to take accountability? If you guys are so familiar with quote-unquote frogs, just date something else. If you've been dating the blue guy, date the red guy. If you've been dating the short guy, date the tall guy. If you've been dating the heavy guy, date the skinny guy. It's easy to switch the type of pattern you're dating. The problem is you don't want to break the pattern. You want to keep it going because you're addicted to it. You're addicted to the highs that quote-unquote frog gave you, right? And you're repulsed to the lows that beta gives you. It's all about vibes, right? It's all about the vibes. So my advice to women, because I know some women might come across this, is that stop blaming everybody else. Go out there and educate yourself on how to rationally choose a man. And have your cousins, your brothers, your father help you choose a guy. Because a lot of the ones you're choosing, none of us would tell you to date. We're not telling you to date that guy. My sister dates a guy I approve of. My dad approves of him. Because guess what? She was around us a lot growing up. She wasn't around a lot of you knucklehead girls. She was around us a lot. And so she was concerned about what we would think. And so she's one of the few women out of all her friends that don't have baby daddy issues. Why? Because there were men in her life. And so she understands what's the valuable things in a man. So a lot of y'all women just don't have fathers. You want to blame somebody, blame your daddy. Your daddy wasn't there and he ruined you.
Refusing to take you on an actual date. She also said, all the people I know who are chronically single just keep dating the same guys over and over. Yep, and then they don't understand why things keep ending the same exact way. Because you're addicted to the chaos and dysfunction. You are misinterpreting this familiarity with compatibility when in reality it's just a spark that is going to burn your house down. Or, I guess, swamp in this case. But my point is that it becomes very difficult to see that you're stuck in this pattern, in this loop, because it has become your new normal. And you might be asking yourself, where are all the great guys at? Well, they're invisible to you because you're only dating these frogs. You know, you can't control other people and what they do, but you can control if you choose to be with them or not. We seriously need to learn as a collective how to be better and how to choose better. We need to learn the skills required to be in a healthy relationship. We need to learn the differences between compatibility and chemistry and misinterpreting this familiarity of dysfunction and chaos as compatibility when it's not that at all. We need to learn and understand the important requirements, keyword important, that actually matter and what contributes to a long, healthy relationship and what we should be looking for when we're dating. We need to learn how to make sure we're holding ourselves to that as well. So all that to say, it's very sad and unfortunate to watch people get stuck in these cycles of dysfunction and not know how to remove themselves from it or actually date people who are good for them. And while we're here, I also have to say, if you are someone watching who is the frog, who's luring women into your dark, scary swamp, perhaps take a look at what you're doing too and really think about if that's who you want to be. I would strongly encourage you to get to the root of your issues, really understand why you operate the way that you do, your attachment style. I think it's so important to heal yourself so that you can live a great life and be in a wonderful relationship.
You're criticizing the quote. By the way, we're gonna get rid of the term frog. She's talking about alpha men, right? The issue hasn't changed. These girls are not dating losers. They're dating the Chads and the Tyrones. She wants a Chad and Tyrone to look in the mirror and say, "Look what you're doing wrong." What is he doing wrong? Okay, casual hookups are great for men. We're not complaining. Chads don't complain. Oh my God, I'm hooking up with all these girls. What am I gonna do? My life. I gotta rethink things. I gotta reflect. I gotta be introspective. They're not thinking that. They're like, man, gee, this is easier than I thought. Right? You're turning them into narcissists because they realize that, oh, I could just do less and get girls. I'm never gonna do a thing. Even me. Right? One of the times in my life I was super alpha was when I had a rotation. I tell people all the time, I did less work in a rotation when I had a rotation than when I had a girlfriend. When I had a girlfriend, I spent more money and more energy, more time, right? And so I was like drained when I had a girlfriend. I'm on the phone all the time. I'm going out to dinner all the time. Like, this girl took up all my time. When I had a rotation of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 girls, maybe not 7, maybe up to like 5 or 6, I didn't spend time with any of them. In fact, I barely knew I had a rotation because I didn't really hear from these girls until it was time to hang out. And I was just cycling through. I'll hang out with you. If you're not available, I hang out with someone else. You're not available. And then what would happen is I'll call one girl. She wasn't available. I'll call another girl. She came through. By the time she came through, another girl hit me back. Oh, I could come tomorrow, since she'll come tomorrow. And then it turned out to like every other day there's a different girl. Right? And then at times I couldn't handle it because I was too busy. So I had to tell some girls, I can't hang out with you. And I'll make them want me more, not less. There's a thing that men, we call the availability test. If a man fails the availability test, women don't like men that are too available. So you give a guy more of yourself if he's less available because you perceive that as valuable because of scarcity. Here's the problem that you don't realize. You're encouraging him to be avoidant to you. And you're probably anxious. You probably have an anxious attachment style. So knowing you, that cat and mouse kind of game, you know what I'm saying, push and pull, one chases the other, you're loving it. You're addicted to it. And if he hits that box right, you're stuck. Now you got a thing. No. Once I reach that part of your body you didn't know you had, oh, it's over now. Now you're trying to scratch that deep again and again and again. And so, listen, we could blame the Chads, we could blame the Tyrones, but none of these people would have power unless women give it to them. They wouldn't. I wouldn't be a Chad unless women slept with me the way they do. You know what I'm saying? Listen, and even hookup culture wouldn't exist if women just refused to partake in casual hookups. If women decided, you know what? At the blink of the hat, at the blink of the eye, I said the blink of the hat, the flip of the hat. The blink of the eye, if women decided, you know what? We want to be married before we hook up. And we want to lose our chastity to our husbands. I guarantee you, everybody would start getting married more often now because guess what? Men, we value purity. So I would say, hey, if we got to wait till we're married, that's cool because I'd be the first and only. And that's a high honor to us. That's why we can't take these girls seriously because they throw that box around and now they want us to pay full price. Listen, baby, ain't nobody want to pay full price on a used item or pay a price more than anyone else paid for it. Would you want to buy a car $10,000 more than someone else paid for it? I don't think so. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? If you went to Chipotle said $15 for this bowl, and then the next person that got online, they had to pay $30. Would you find that to be fair? You wouldn't say, oh, well, you deserve it. Because that's what's going on now. Women are outpricing themselves from the dating market when they are the reasons why their prices dropped. Your stock fell because of you. And I know it's confusing, and so these videos are supposed to help, and it can only help if you listen. But guess what? You want to know the truth, Courtney? And all these girls watching, they don't listen. They never listen. And so I'm going to do you a solid because I'm going to listen to you, and then I'm going to respond, and I'm going to take this bad boy home. But the point is, we got to listen to each other because the answers are there. You guys just won't listen to them.
Any of you watching, whether you're a man or a woman, to be this bad frog or be the person who is dating the bad frog. I want you all to be the best that you can be and be in wonderful relationships. My wish for all of you is that you are healthy on your own so that you can be healthy in a relationship too. And again, I just needed to address this horrible advice that I see so many women giving other women. I mean, men give men some other bad advice too. Women give men some bad advice. There's a lot of bad advice online. Maybe I'll do a video of the worst advice I see online, or maybe specifically bad advice that women give other women from a woman's perspective who's in a healthy relationship. Let me know if you guys would want to see that or any other topic idea you want me to cover. I keep a very lengthy list of topic ideas on my phone, and I'm always looking to add new things to it that you guys want me to cover. But all that to say, I loved this video. I love the lighthearted approach she took to it to discuss a bigger, more serious issue. I think she was absolutely spot on, and I just got a kick out of this video, so wanted to share it with you guys. So let me know what you think.
No, she word salad. She didn't say anything unique. In fact, it's confusing if you take her at face value. She's calling Chads frogs. Chads are not frogs. The frogs are the losers. The frogs are the beta males. The frogs are the people that no one wants and they actually avoid. That dude you called the frog, you really thought he was a prince. And hindsight tells you he's a frog because it didn't work out. He really was a prince in your eyes. Okay? Girls like who they like. Okay? What they say, what did that one dude name? The dude that did the cocky funny, I can't think of his name right now, but he said, attraction is not a choice. It's not. You know, women, I know people get so mad when I talk about the fact my life in this way, and I'm talking about it because we're having a conversation, but I don't think girls, when they're attracted to me, they're doing it to do me a favor, right? I've seen it happen over and over again when girls are attracted to me, and at first you think to yourself, like when it first started happening in your life, you're like, oh, this is nice, oh, this is, oh, kind of them, oh, this is sweet, but after a while, you get so used to being attractive to women, that I literally, when I go to parties, clubs, when I meet brand new people, when I'm even in the supermarket, I'm expecting girls to be attracted to me. In fact, today, right before I made this video, I was in ShopRite. And if you guys have a ShopRite, you might have a Publix, right? I was in the supermarket, and I was looking at this crock pot, right? Don't ask me why I'm looking at a crock pot. It was on super sale. It was $25 off, and it was only $15. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking if I should buy it. A random girl came up to me and was like, oh, you should buy it. She gave me all these reasons why I should buy it. Oh, I made this pound cake in it. It's amazing. One of the best spots. I got the exact one. And I'm like, yo, thank you so much. But I realized this happens to me all the time. She's only helping me because she thinks I'm a Chad. She thinks I'm attractive. She wants to have a conversation. She might even want me to get her number. I just wasn't that interested in her. But I was thankful for her help. But that happens to me all the time. It's not a choice. You can't help it. It's not some dating coach's advice that went wrong. It's you. Okay? And what you have to do is second guess who you naturally feel attracted to. And you have to go after the guy that you wouldn't usually be attracted to. Right? You have to go after the guy that looks good on paper, not the guy that feels good in the heart. That's what you got to go after. Anyway, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Channel blowing up. I appreciate you guys. Check out some of my other videos, and I'll see you over there.